Hi, this is Mike Brakey. This is Black Swan Climate Theory Part 2, the June edition. We have a title here, Noah's Use of Computer Algorithms to Whitewash Black Swan Climate Events Can Be Reversed. Now, some may be wondering, what is an algorithm? A computer program can be viewed as an elaborate algorithm. In mathematics and computer science, an algorithm usually means a small procedure that solves a recurrent problem. NOAA has been attempting, in my opinion, to correct a climate aberration that Mother Nature has repeatedly thrown at the organization since 1998. These inconvenient aberrations are rumored to be pockets of regional cooling in Maine, across the United States, and likely around the world. In part one, we're going to do a quick review or highlight of some of the things found in Black Swan Climate Theory 1. I'm just going to point out what is in different sections so that we don't have to repeat it here, but if any questions arise, you'll have a resource to go to. So in part 1, which was a little under 11 minutes, it included my closing observations to this April presentation and my biography. In my conclusions, I had indicated the reasons why I felt that NOAA's most recent information over the last 10 or 12 years has led to them corrupting the data over the last 119 years. In part 2, which is a little over 13 minutes, what are heating and cooling degree days? What triggered this study in the first place? Why was the Lewiston Auburn, Maine selected for this study? What drew me to use the energy information here? Part 3 included a review of what the United Nations states is happening with climate versus what we as Mainers are actually experiencing in our neighborhoods. It is also here I start discussing the possibility of a black swan climate event occurring. By that I mean temperatures dropping so dramatically lower than the norm that it may peak a black swan event in that we're going against the themes of global warming. Part 4 included the definition of what makes a theory by Richard Feynman, Manhattan Project scientist, and we get into detail about what impacts the East Coast weather related to the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and how they dramatically impact Maine weather. In fact, one thing that was not discussed, I got the chart after that presentation, is there's a chart out now that was recently published, and I'll enlarge it on the next slide here, that shows part of that 70-year history cycle for the Atlantic Ocean. And we can see since the 50s we have been in a period of time of cold. Then in 95 we started warming up the Atlantic Ocean in its 70-year cycle, and it peaked around 2007 and is now on a decline that may go back to neutral or cold by 2020 unless there's some further volcanic action underneath the ocean waves. This chart is found at www.climateforyou.com, and we'll get back to this now. So with that information, finally in part 5, which was about 15 minutes long, we reviewed NOAA's 2013 data, in my opinion, manipulation versus NOAA's 2015 data rewrite and conclusions. And that pretty much ended the earlier session from April. And with that background, we can proceed to part 2 of 6, which is We did get a response back from NOAA. NOAA's Derek Arndt states Maine was one of the states that saw the biggest differences in temperature. This is probably why the blogs focused in on it. Well, we'll get into specifics of this and what else was written in that email in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.